Hello and welcome to HBM's Crypto-Corner for Wednesday, August 29th, 2018. Can't believe that the month of August is nearly over. Labor Day weekend is this upcoming weekend. This is the last show for August, beginning into September next week. So, but hey, this train's going to keep rolling as far as HBM's Crypto-Corner. We're just going to keep going. Of course, we're going to take, time off for holidays and things like that, but other than that, we ain't stopping. So our first article out of the gate is from the Smithsonian.com. Why do so many people still want to believe in Bigfoot? The appeal of the mythical wild man holds strong. And it appears that they have re-edited this, because there was mention of, despite the fact that evidence supposedly points to a hoax when it comes to Sasquatch. And I mean, they basically go over, they talk about the popular culture aspects and all that. 60 years ago this fall, Bigfoot first stepped into the public consciousness. Giant footprints puzzle residents. A headline in the Humboldt Times announced. A small Northern California newspaper reported that a road construction crew had discovered human-like footprints that were a massive 16 inches long. The paper was the first to give the mysterious animal that made the prints its memorable moniker, Bigfoot, and the creature has been stomping through the American imagination ever since. Now, there were a couple of notable mistakes in this article. One of them is, this is talking about the 1958 footprints right here. This says, with no prerequisite and no preamble, the tracks were planted near Bluff Creek in Northern California by a man named Ray Wallace. But his prank was not revealed until his death in 2002, when his children said it had all been just a joke. I mean, they just present this with no prerequisite. They don't even bother to check into it. They don't look into it. I mean, they could have just picked up a book. Never mind surfing the internet. They could have picked up a book. Jeff Meldrum's book would be a perfect example, a great example. So would John Green's books. They could have read those, maybe been a little bit more educated about this. Might not have changed their minds, but they would have at least put the tracks were allegedly planted near Bluff Creek. But instead, the tracks were planted, as if that's an absolute fact. I mean, come on, Smithsonian, get your acts together. And the Patterson-Gimlin film, created in the same place that Wallace had allegedly staged his hoax, is just one reason to doubt its authenticity. Now, I mean, they had no qualms about just absolutely coming out and saying, yeah, this was probably a hoax. It seems to me like the author, Ben Crayer, had his mind made up before he wrote this article that there's no Bigfoot. So he's like, hey, I'm getting paid by the Smithsonian, so I'll just write something that is patently false, or something that really can't be proven or disproven. I mean, just with no checking of the facts, no looking into it, just unobjectively writing, yes, this is how it was, or this is how I learned about it. Obviously, this person is very misinformed. Or at best, at worst, he's doing this deliberately. But who knows? Anyway, Smithsonian really needs to raise its standards. And from what I understand, Daniel Perez says a well-known Bigfooter is going to make his feelings known about this article in the upcoming September 2018 issue of the Bigfoot Times. That should be quite interesting. Next article is a bit of an older article from a few years ago, but I still find it quite interesting. This is from Cliff Barackman. It was posted by Craig Woolheater. It's a recurrence of individual Sasquatches. Cliff Barackman shares his thoughts in a series of Sasquatch footprint casts. Now, Cliff has given a couple of presentations about this, about recurrence of individuals. The first time I saw their presentation was in 2014 in Yakima, Washington, at the second Yakima Bigfoot Roundup. And this is pretty. And then the second time was in Ohio a year and a half later at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference. Here's a slide from one of my presentations. I am theorizing that all of these footprints are from the same individual Sasquatch. The casts range in size from about 14 to about 18 inches. Remember, the cast is not the shape of the foot, but rather shows the damage done to the ground by that foot. So even though these casts are differently sized, they are apparently the same foot. Now, I have most of Cliff's presentation on video, and it's on YouTube. You look up Sunday at Yakima Bigfoot Roundup with most of Cliff Barrickman's presentation. Very fascinating stuff. Very cool stuff, too. I mean, Cliff really does a great job of explaining things, and he's very thorough, and he leaves no stone unturned. You know, he does a great job, in my opinion. Now, this is a pretty cool article about Dr. Jeff Meldrum. Weird, Wicked, Weird, an academic career studying Sasquatch. He talks about the footprints that he and his brother actually were led to by Paul Freeman. And this was near Walla Walla, Washington. And to be quite honest, Dr. Meldrum said at first he was a little bit, I don't want to say put off, but he was very reticent to think, oh, you know, this almost seems too good to be true. You know, he was very unsure that this could be real. I mean, it seemed like his leg was being pulled by Paul Freeman. But the thing is, he and his brother showed up unannounced at Paul Freeman's doorstep. So it would seem unlikely that Paul Freeman would have had enough time to put together a quick hoax just to fool Dr. Meldrum and his brother. I mean, besides, how would Freeman have known that they were coming anyway? That's something you have to ask yourself. But some very interesting stuff. He's going to be speaking at the International Cryptozoology Conference. That has been mentioned. I'm going to be talking about that in a little bit. There's two conferences coming up this weekend. This is where it says his talk will focus on the Patterson-Gimlin film. And, you know, I saw him give that excellent presentation about the PG film last year at the 50th anniversary celebration of the film in Eureka, California. So, very fascinating stuff. Now, of course, he was 10 years old in, I think it was 1969, and he actually saw Roger Patterson in person and saw the PG film on a huge screen for the first time. And, I mean, he was just beguiled by the film. And he got one of the original prints of frame 354 that Roger Patterson was actually giving to those who attended his presentations. And he still has that, by the way. He still has that particular print today. So, but there's a really good article about Dr. Jeff Meldrum. And I would definitely recommend a good read of it. You know, this is good stuff. It's actually a monthly feature on the strange, unexplained, and intriguing in the state of Maine. Oh, okay. Because obviously that's where the event is going to happen. It's going to happen in Portland, Maine. Again, I'm going to be talking about it in a little bit. So good stuff about Dr. Jeff Meldrum. Here's some pretty exciting news. It's not necessarily Sasquatch related, but it's very exciting nonetheless. DNA results have verified the first known hybrid hominin. It turns out that there's two different species that supposedly that interbred, creating a hybrid. And not only that, scientists believe it happened a lot more frequently than they first thought it did. So, pretty exciting article. It's from the Smithsonian, ironically. SmithsonianMag.com. And it's very exciting. I don't know what it has to do with Sasquatch, but it could have some implications with Sasquatch. Who knows? But yes, very exciting stuff. Very cool. And it's a good article. I think everybody should check it out and take a look. Okay, now we're going to talk about the International Cryptozoology Conference 2018, which is taking place this weekend in Portland, Maine. The third annual, as a matter of fact. Now, one thing is, there's not going to be an event next year, but I suppose there will be one in 2020. Because Lauren and Jenny Coleman, his wife, they're going to be going to Loch Ness and Loch Morar for 1 week. And that'll be in June of 2019. And so that's the reason there's not going to be an event in 2019. But speakers for the event, speakers and special guests are going to be Stephen Bissett, who is a comic book artist. He's actually worked with Alan Moore and John Tutlaban on the DC comic book Swamp Thing. And he's going to be speaking. Also Joseph Citro, who has looked into monsters and hauntings. He is the co-author of... Actually, he and Stephen Bissett are the co-authors of the Vermont Monster Guide. Lauren Coleman is going to be the host. He's also going to be presenting the Cryptozoologist of the Year. Dr. Todd Disotell is going to be speaking. Those of you who've watched programs like Monster Quest, Search for the Lost Giants, $10 million Bigfoot Bounty are probably familiar with him. He is a geneticist, DNA geneticist. Haley Eldridge, she's going to be talking about the Beast of Gavadon, or La Bête de Gavadon. I think that's how it's pronounced. Anyway, she's a cryptozoology blogger. She's a graduate of Nichols College, so very cool. Katie Elizabeth, she is going to be talking about her search for Champ. She's the only full-time dedicated woman lake monster hunter in the world. That's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting and not bad looking, is she? I gotta say that. Dr. Jeff Meldrum, he's going to be speaking, as mentioned in the previous, in the article about him. He's going to be speaking at the International Cryptozoology Conference. He's going to be talking about the Patterson-Gimlin film. Jeff Muse is the Master of Ceremonies. He works with the International Cryptozoology Museum. He's the Assistant Director, as a matter of fact. Musical entertainment by Missy Mooney and the Tomb of Nick Cage. Andy McGrath is going to talk about Beasts of Britain. Alexander Petakov is going to be talking about his documentary On the Trail of Champ, in which he worked with small town monsters. Dawn Prince Hughes is going to talk about apes and something about songs of the apes, something like that. It's on this site. You can take it up and take a look at it. Colin Schneider. He's going to be talking about some different stuff, some cryptids. Michelle Solier. She's working on a new book called Bigfoot in Maine. Oh, wow. Very cool. And Paul LeBlond and Bill Dranginis have had to cancel due to health reasons. We wish them well. Now, Bill Dranginis, I know that he's had some cancer issues as of late. He's been taking a lot of chemo and things like that. So we want to send our best wishes out to him. Also, Paula Blonde, send our best wishes out to him as well. There's full information right here. You have to have obtained your tickets by August 17th. So, if you did not manage to get any tickets or anything like that, well, you're just out of luck. Sorry about that. Maybe in 2020, because he's not going to have an event in 2019. Sorry. But yeah, this should be pretty cool for those who are in the Portland, Maine area. And if you're interested in cryptozoology, this is the place to be, I think. And yeah, I imagine you will get a tour of the International Cryptozoology Museum as well. So this is very cool stuff. Finally is the International Bigfoot Conference, which takes place in Kennewick, Washington this weekend. There's also a film festival going on. Co-host is Mr. Bob Gimlin. 3 days of powerful talks, 31st of August. Local lodgings, there's information on the local hotels that are going to be available. Speakers, well, Bob Gimlin, of course, Adam Davis, Ken Gerhard, Lyle Blackburn, Seth Breedlove, Stacy Brown Jr., the folks from Cultured Bigfoot, Bill and Amy Lancaster, yes. They're making a new one called Paranormal Bigfoot. Also J.C. Williams, Mike Miller, and Mike Feltner, the Ohio Night Stalkers. I did not mean to move that. Kyle Gibson and Mantra Freitas, and Igor Burtsev. They're going to be the speakers at the event. And some of these movies are going to be shown off as well. So, I don't know if there's tickets still available, but looks like it's going to be a great event for those who are in the Kennewick, Washington area. Definitely check it out one time, won't you? And let's see, I think that's about the only... I think that's it for this week, matter of fact. Can't think of too much else to talk about. So, this is all the news items that I have for this week. Once again, I can't express my thanks enough to all of you guys and gals who are tuning in every week. You guys are the heart of the show, as I always say. Behind every great video creator is a great audience, and I consider you all friends. All of you who tune in, all of you who give me the big thumbs up. Very appreciative, and I'm not planning to let you guys down anytime soon. I can tell you that much. I'm going to keep giving you the great content that you expect from HBM's Crypto Corner, and I love to do it. I love to do this for you guys. A lot of you are probably holdovers from 10 years ago or 9 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago when I had my podcast. And if you've been with me for 10 years now, thank you. If you've only been with me for 5 years, thank you again. If you've only been with me for a few months, maybe a few days, again, thank you. By the way, if you're new to this channel, welcome. Welcome. You are very welcome here. You got a place here. So, yeah, I'm dedicated to making this your one-stop shop for all things cryptids and all things crypto. And yeah, I do talk about Bigfoot quite a bit, but it's my favorite cryptid. I can't help it. Bigfoot is the king of the cryptids as far as I'm concerned. Well, not just Bigfoot, but you got your Yeti and your Orang Pendek, your Chinese Yeren, your Yowie, your Mono Grande, all these mystery hominoids or hominids around the world. But I don't mind talking about other stuff. Oh, by the way, there was a pretty interesting program on TV last week. It was on Travel Channel. It was Monsters and Mysteries in America. And they devoted the whole hour to Men in Black. And one of our good friends, Nick Redfern, was on that program. Also Stan Gordon. The real Men in Black are much spookier and much scarier than anything you could see in a Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones movie, folks. Believe me. People who experience Men in Black, boy, they very memorable for them. But it was very cool. I really liked those programs, or that program. So, yeah, that comes on Travel Channel. If you have Travel Channel, you can check it out for yourself. Whether it's on cable or dish. So anyway, folks, that's going to do it for this week. I don't think there's really any programming notes to talk about as far as what's coming up on television. So, till next week, and I will be here. Lord willing and the creeks don't rise. Y'all be good or be good at it. This is May-HBM's Crypto Corner.